Recruiter here to review your resumes. The resume you have up first is a full stack software engineer that has been struggling to get a job for, it seems like, the last couple of years. This person has stated that they were self-taught dev. And by the way, before I continue, I do more than tech resumes, but right now the tech market is garbage. So like 90% of the resumes sent to me are full stack and data analysts. So this person started off as a self-taught dev in 2021 and began their job search in 2022. They applied to hundreds, if not over thousands of applications and never got a single interview. They eventually decided to go back to school in 2024 and only got a single interview for an internship, but no offer. And they're about to graduate in about a month or two, and they're desperate to not go back to the service industry. I don't blame you. The service industry is brutal. Having worked a lot of jobs in my life, some of the hardest ones were the customer service ones at like DSW. That job stunk. That was one of the worst jobs I had. Those are very difficult jobs. They said, I recently saw your video and changed up my resume and have been applying with that resume the last couple of weeks with only a few rejections and nothing else. So this is my formatting mostly. Let's see if they actually did it correctly. And we're going to find out because they have more to say. They've probably submitted over 100 to maybe 150 applications since then and nothing, which is how you can tell how good or bad your resume is. Your interview to application ratio should be 50 to 1 at a minimum. So for every 50 applications, you should get at least one interview. If it's anything over that, your resume is garbage. If it's anything under that, your resume is great. So this person's resume is bad. So I'm expecting them to not follow my format, or more accurately, they followed my format, but not the actual things to put in the format, which is more important than the format. And my advice gets people a 1 interview per 7 application ratio. So typically when people follow everything perfectly, they get 1 interview per 7 applications. They say, I know you say not to do an objective statement. Correct. Objective statements are garbage and my work history is unrelated, but I'm hoping will people see I'm a hard worker and can learn and grow if given a chance? Bro, why? Don't do something that foolish. Nobody cares. I'm going to tell you right now. Your efforts don't matter. How hard you try, how much you care does not matter in the corporate world. I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm saying that to tell you the truth. And people that have worked in the corporate world will know. There are plenty of hardworking, passionate people that care more than anything else. They get stomped into the dirt. So no, I don't care that you work hard. It doesn't matter. Your hard work does not matter. Only your success does. Which is brutal, but that is one of the first lessons you kind of learn in corporate. So when you put this right up here, you immediately hurt your chances. And you'll be like, well, they'll see I'm a hard... Nobody cares. Nobody cares how hard of a worker you are. Nobody cares how much your passion is. All they care about is that you can do what you can do. So this is immediately not my format and made it worse. Thank you so much for your content and reviews. I never know what to put in my bullet points, but your format and videos make it pretty clear. Well, let's see if this person has done it or not. And again, I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to say, haha, poor job seeker. I am being as brutal as I can so that you can feed your family, so that you don't have to go to the service industry, so that you don't have to go for hundreds of applications. That is why I'm doing this. It's not to be mean. It's not to be haughty. It's to beat into you what reality is so that you can get a job and feed yourself and be happier. Which I hate doing. I don't like being mean, but it helps people. So, recruiters, recruiters only have 20 seconds to find what we need on your resume. If we cannot find it in that amount of time, your resume is yeeted and deleted. So I need to find 75% of these for a full stack software engineer. What are those? Degree, TypeScript, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, RESTful API or REST API, SQL, Cloud, AWS, or GCP or Azure. Backend, any of them, React, React.js, Angular, Node.js, Vue.js. You need at least like 3 of those 5. DevOps, CI/CD, Agile, Git, and extra credit for large-scale AI tools and cross-functional. I need to see these in qualification format, not keyword format. Recruiters are not keyword hunting, which every single video I go over and people seem to miss. There is a difference between a keyword in a resume, which is what the hiring team needs, it's this, and a qualification. Those are 2 very, very different things. So, 20 seconds on the clock. Let's see what I can and cannot find. And yeah, let's see if this resume, why it's not working. And start. Okay, yes, obviously this doesn't matter. Formatting is off on this one. Authorized PRs through GitHub as a voluntary contributor to lexical source. What? Okay. Fix multiple bugs that related to the plugins using React, JavaScript, which enable. What is that? Time. Yeah, this resume does not work. So there are 2 things about a resume. One, the formatting, which you should use. This is my formatting. This person did not do it correctly. It's close, but not quite, which does matter. This is the formatting. This is how you do it, right? The link is in the description below. But if you want to give a resume a grade, formatting is 30% of your grade. And while my formatting is great, which again, this person did not follow, formatting alone never gets you an interview. Your goal to get interviews, and in fact, I have seen badly formatted resumes get interviews over better formatted resumes if the bullet points are good. And this person's bullet points are terrible, which is why they're not getting anything. So first things first, nobody cares that you are a second career software engineer with 4+ years of management experience in the food and restaurant industry, looking to step into a software engineer role, working with a coordinated team of other highly motivated developers to offer quality solutions. This is nonsense and does not matter. There is a reason I told you not to put this, and you do not want to put this. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about your passion. I hate saying that, but nobody cares. Okay, so this does not belong here. The only times you want a summary in this section is if you are switching industries, and I don't mean you just graduated. You just graduating makes perfect sense as to why you're switching industries already. I'm talking like if you're going from a Michelin star chef to a basket weaver. That is the level of difference. The other reason is if you are explaining a non-OPT F1 or H1B visa, like you will need to explain it, or if you have an approved I-140. If you have an approved I-140, you can put that right there. That's actually really good to know. And the third is that you are relocating. Those are the only reasons you ever want to put a summary. So the problem I have with this resume is, besides the fact that they didn't fully do the formatting, is the fact that they filled this resume with hot dogs and not hamburgers, and there are no qualifications, only keywords. So, again, a keyword, what the hiring team needs. A qualification is a keyword plus how you used it, plus where you used it, plus the non-technical business reasons you used it, which is an easier way of saying impact, right? Impact is not numbers. Impact is the non-technical reason that you did something. If it is not the what, the how, the why, the where, it is not a qualification and does not count. So while this person did put authorized GitHub, and GitHub is something I'm looking for. Well, Git is. I don't understand why you did this. And that means this does not count. Fixed multiple bugs that affected plugins related to UI and search using what I'm looking for. Enabling more consistent expected functionality. What does that mean? I don't know. Doesn't matter. I don't care that you enabled more consistent expected functionality. I don't know why you did that. What was the point of that? I don't know. It's too technical. Updated unit tests using Jest, allowing tests to ensure the code base stayed functional after. This is actually, okay, so this is a case of a good why, right? This allows the code base to stay functional. Actually, no. This is still slightly too technical. You still need to make this a little less technical. Not much, just like to ensure that the code, the website or whatever remained functional, right? That would be fine. But stayed functional after additional changes is not enough. But it also doesn't have any actual keywords. So this one doesn't have qualifications. This one doesn't have keywords. This one doesn't have qualifications. Because remember, the what is a keyword, and you need a minimum of 3 in a sentence, a maximum of 6. But you have it here. Just remember, which enabled more consistent expected functionality is not the non-technical reason you did it. And because it's not the non-technical reason you did it, this does not count as a sentence, which is why you are struggling. Is your first entire bullet point has 0 things that I need written in a way I need it. Now, the other problem you have here is you have too many hot dogs. So I want you to imagine that you go to a restaurant. You say, hey, I'd like a hamburger. They say, all right, let me get you that. They go back and they bring you 3 hot dogs on a plate. And you say, excuse me, I think there's been a problem. I wanted a hamburger. And they say, no, this is what you wanted. A hot dog has meat like a hamburger. A hot dog has buns just like a hamburger. So when you wanted a hamburger, what you really wanted is a plate of 3 hot dogs. And you would look at that person like they were crazy and you would walk away without paying. And that is the exact same problem here. Is authorized PRs through GitHub, actual something you use, volunteer contributed to lexical source code, working with the developers. Why do I care that you worked with the developers? Why do I care that you contributed to the lexical source code? I don't know. That's a hot dog. Fix multiple bugs. See, this one doesn't have hot dogs. You just don't have qualifications. But updated unit tests with Jest. Why do I care about Jest? Reflect changes allowing to ensure the code base stayed functional. Why do I care? I don't. Added additional documentation and docusauruses to help other devs. Why do I care? I don't. This is a good non-technical reason, but the non-technical reason doesn't matter if you don't have the keywords, and the keywords don't matter if you don't have the non-technical reason. And this entire sentence, the only thing I found is React, TypeScript, and JavaScript, and even then it wasn't written correctly. And then we go down to here, and mostly more of the same. You know what I don't see? I don't see SQL. I don't see RESTful APIs or REST APIs. I don't see HTML or CSS. I don't see cloud. I don't see the backend. I don't see... Did I see React? I did see React, but it's all the way down here at the bottom. And Node. And that's it. And I need 75% of this. I don't see CI/CD. I don't see Agile. I don't see DevOps. So... you followed the formatting like 80% correct, but the formatting is not the problem in this resume. And again, I will always tell people that I would prefer you have garbage formatting than garbage bullet points. But right now, the reason you are getting rejected across everything, and again, it's not just me, this person is sending thousands of applications and getting nothing, is because your bullet points are terrible. And you need to understand that we are not keyword searching, we are qualification searching. And the qualifications are not on this resume, which is why you are struggling to get a job. So delete this part, right? Because remember, nobody cares that you're a hard worker. Your words are... I'm hoping people will see that I'm a hard worker and can learn and grow. I have never in my life seen somebody get hired or even get an interview that is willing to grow and learn. You don't. You have to show that you've already done it. It could be through a project. It could be through work experience. Could be through whatever. But you need to prove that you have already done it. Not learn and grow. Learn and grow is a giant red flag. Nobody hires people to learn and grow. So that is all I could do for this resume. And again, I'm not being harsh to be mean. I'm being harsh so that you can get out of retail. Because retail is a nightmare to work in. I worked in it before, hated it. It's a nightmare. So before we go to the next resume, I just want to say, if you ever need more help with your resume, you can join me on my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST on twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter and right here on YouTube. And to my members who get access to my videos a little bit early, thank you very much for your support. I really appreciate it. If anybody else wants to get access to videos early or support this channel, you can join so in the link below. But thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of an AI engineer. Kind of. So this person said, I am between 2 roles, an AI engineer and a software engineer, and that their actual company might have them as a data engineer instead, specifically with low latency C++, which is pretty common, or not common, pretty wanted. They currently have a job as an AI and they live in Chicago. Many of the software roles there are trading related companies and a lot focused on C++. Is it okay to have a resume that would make me available for both roles, AI engineer, software engineer, C++, or should I pick one and focus on that? What you need to do is create 3 separate resumes. You create one for a software engineer, specifically which type that you want to do. I guess Python or C++ maybe. Then you create one for a data engineer, and then you create one for an AI engineer. And then you can apply to all 3 of those, but you need a separate resume for each of those. So this person's ratio is okay, right? It's a 1 in 50, which is a pass, but their numbers are not high enough. Your goal should be to apply to 50 jobs a week. Now, obviously, if you're in another country besides the US, or you're in the middle of nowhere, you may not have that option, but the goal should be 50 a week. And in Chicago, this person can definitely apply to 50 a week. So their actual ratio is unknown, but I'm expecting to at least find some stuff that is good here. Although, again, it may be better for a data engineer. So I might look at this as a data engineer after this. So 20 seconds on the clock. We need for an AI degree, Python, ML, LLMs, cloud, built stuff in production, agentic systems and multi-agent, agentic coding, frameworks, LangGraph, LangChain, Google ADK, OpenAI, communicate technical details to non-technical audience, ML ops, AI architecture, AI orchestration, and rare, but the rest of that. So let's see if I can find it in 20 seconds. And go. Formatting's awful. Production, Databricks, perfect. Not Databricks, though. PySpark, good. Numbers don't matter. Numbers don't matter. Built the backend, ML infrastructure, okay. Training 100, don't care. For PySpark and Delta Lake. Time. So, I think this is a data engineer resume more so. Let me look. Like, it just doesn't read, like, there's 1 or 2 good things, right? Like, I really like how they wrote some of this stuff. But let me look up my data engineering one, which is this. Yeah, this reads more... Okay, so my problem with this resume is it's kind of in between all of them, is that you have some good stuff and you have some bad stuff. So let me tell you what's bad or good first. First, one of the things that not a lot of people mention that I really like, built production right here, production Databricks stuff. I don't want you to say Databricks because that's not important for an AI engineer, but the fact that you built stuff in production is good. And then you tell us where. Private equity, fixed income, and real estate. That's great. That tells us exactly the industry you're in, which they like to know. Using PySpark, great. Data lakes, don't care. Unity catalog, don't care. And then the rest of the sentence is bad. But here also is solid, right? Which is built the backend data and ML infrastructure. They love that. If you're an AI engineer and you've built the back end infrastructure, whoo boy, they love that. They love you building the infrastructure. The problem is the rest of this stuff is just chaos. So remember, you want your resume to look like this because this is easy to read. And then I think you need to take a hatchet and split this resume into 3. One should be focused on AM software. One should be focused on data engineering. One should be focused on AI. Also, you need to remove these numbers. Numbers don't matter in this unless it is the scale of what you've done. And I don't see the scale of what you've done because it's the scale of users, not the scale of anything else. And I don't see that. Like this is bad down here. Cut this percentage. No, that's not non-technical. So yeah, I you have some good, you have some bad, and I think if you just cut it into 3, one for AI, one for data, and one for software, you will probably get a job pretty quickly. Because some of this stuff is stuff that they would really love, like the production ready, the ML infrastructure they love, but it's just like digging through a mountain of hot dogs to get to the hamburgers that I need. And that's kind of my problem with this resume. So is this a complete failure? No, because it's getting some interviews, but I can see why it's only getting some and rather than a ton. So split it into 3. and then we can start actually making this way better, and you will probably get a job within like a month. Next resume. This is a cloud engineer with an AWS focus. So we need your degree. We need a AWS. Again, this is the AWS version. If you are supporting Azure or GCP, you will probably have to switch AWS for one of those. But for AWS, we need, well, AWS, Python or Bash, CI/CD, Agile or Scrum, SQL, Linux, Windows, Excel, GitHub, infrastructure as code, IAC, Terraform or CloudFormations, CloudWatch, Kubernetes, explain complex topics and talk with non-technical stakeholders, troubleshooting, monitoring, and optimizing cloud environments, and certs. A lot of people put certs that don't matter, but in this case, certs do matter. Like for a software engineer, I don't think I've ever seen a certification help. For a project manager, tons of certs are amazing. So for this one, we want some certs. So let's find out if we can find it. We do not know this person's ratio. This is their first time they've sent out a resume. So let's see if we can find it in 20 seconds. So 20 seconds on the clock and go. Okay, kinesiology, interesting. All right, AWS solution, good. Built an automated system using AWS and Terraform that emails tenants about upcoming rental increases. Okay. Use text, hot dog, good. Time. There's just too much here. So one thing I'm a little concerned about is your degree. I'm assuming maybe this is just doxed, so you don't want to dox yourself. But yeah, the AWS cert will be good, but expected doesn't count. Unless you are guaranteed to get it, you don't want to put it in. Because, like, if the program is only a month, right? And you started in June, then cool, it's expected. But you need to already have the cert, or it's just not mailed to you yet. That's fine. But my bigger problem is just that these bullet points are mostly empty. Built an automated system using AWS, good. Terraform, good. And that's it. And then again, you kind of overdid it here, right? You said, built an automated system using AWS and Terraform that emails tenants about upcoming rent increases. This would have been fine to stop. But then you kept going when on the same day their mail notice goes out addressing a real problem where tenants weren't finding out money until that's too much. That's too much of the non-technical why. This was fine, right? Like up to here was fine. This is a good sentence, except it still needs one additional keyword. Remember, your goal should be a minimum of 3 keywords per sentence, a maximum of 6. Also, do not put this here. Do not put that there. There is no point to do that. You do not want to do that. It is going to make your resume worse and harder to read. And then the problem I have with this is use text and comprehend medical to pull data is a hot dog. There's nothing there that I want to see. Camera. Use DynamoDB to store records and send notification. Again, you wrote the non-technical why. Great. But remember, a qualification is keyword plus plus how, plus why, plus where. And you did the why, you did the how, you did the where, you didn't do the actual what. Because the only things I see is AWS and Terraform. And then here, AWS and S3. And that's it. And that's not enough to get a job. There's no Python, there's no Bash, there's no CI/CD or Agile or Scrum, there's no SQL or Linux or Windows or Excel, there's no CloudWatch or Kubernetes, there's no explaining complex topics to non-technical stakeholders. That one's critical. There's no troubleshooting, there's no monitoring, there's no optimizing, and I just don't have enough. Like, remember, a qualification, like, we're not keyword hunting, but keywords are important because you filled your resume with hot dogs, and I don't know where to go from here because I only found AWS and Terraform, and that's it. And that's not enough. You need 75% of this. Like, yeah, it's good that you have the AWS, but where is everything else? You know, it's like a chef showing up to work and saying, "Don't worry, I brought my gloves," but that's the only thing they brought, right? Like, there's no kitchen implements. There, I mean, you wouldn't bring that. I guess it would be like showing up to work in a kitchen and your boss is like, "Hey, don't worry, I brought you your apron, but there's no knives, there's no silverware, there's no food, there's no nothing." And that's my problem with this, is there's just nothing here. It's almost an entirely blank page. So you have the right idea about the whys. You just need to now put the other stuff in. Next resume. This is a resume for a software engineer intern. This person is looking for a backend Java in the EU, which the qualifications for the EU and the US for interns are almost exactly the same. What do we need? We need degree. I need to make sure you're still enrolled. A basic knowledge of the tech stack, a language, SQL, cloud, little bit of AI, right? You don't want to overdo it. People tend to overdo it, but you want a little bit of it. Object-oriented programming, SQL, RESTful APIs, just very basic stuff. Then I need to see the ability to work well with others and take direction and criticism. This is in almost every single intern resume, and you need it. And it's the one that almost every single intern does not have, is I need to see that you can take direction and criticism and work together with others. Those are critical. Now you're going to ask, how do I write that? It's pretty simple. You just write like, met weekly with the hiring, with, senior engineers, where they would go over my code prior to the next meeting so that I could fix it. Like, that is it. That is all you have to do. Now you do want to add in like, go over my HTML, CSS, whatever code. But that's all you need to do for take direction and criticism. And it's critical. So this person wants to break into Fang. I have gotten people interviews at Fang and jobs at Fang. Microsoft and Amazon. I don't think I've gotten anybody jobs at Netflix yet. Which is Netflix even still? Isn't it now like Mang or something? Like, it's so weird. All right. But I have gotten people job at Fang. I've applied to around 200 positions across Europe and gotten 5 interviews. Okay, that's pretty good. After updating your format, I applied to 4 openings and got 2 interviews. So that is a massive success. Let's see. But yeah, let's see what we can do to fix it and what we can do to make it better. But I will say 4 openings and 2 interviews is insane, even for my formatting. Usually it's a 1 in 7, but that's really good. So, all right, let's take a look. So 20 seconds on the clock. And go. Degree, good. Building and optimizing backend tools for Java Core Cloud. Okay. Java Flavors and Jira Customs. Good. Worked across 16 to roll out of Spring. Okay. Connect with the dynamic engine workflow validating tools to block unsafe configurations. Built in automated QI with Claude to change you from 4 weeks. Okay. Yeah, I like a lot of this. So one thing's first is you need to follow my format. There should be spaces between this. If it goes to 2 pages, it goes to 2 pages. That's fine. That's not a big deal at all. But you really do want to use this because this is really crunched together and it's kind of hard to read. That's the only real formatting issue I can find. So you want to add more spaces. It's 10.5 Arial, and the spacing is 1.5. So please put 1.5 spacing. But I like what you did on a lot of this. In fact, I think the only thing I would like is, so yeah, responsible for building and optimizing. You don't need to say optimizing. You can say building our backend Java tools for cloud. Tell me what kind of cloud, right? If it was AWS, it was AWS, it was GCP. For AWS core testing or something, profiling performance with that, and collaborating with engineers across teams through full cycle delivery. So this is 3 keywords, right? We have Java, we have cloud, although I prefer you to tell me specifically, and working with engineers across teams through a full life cycle delivery, which is FDLC, which is great. So I love this sentence. This is why you're getting interviews, right? That alone is phenomenal. Tells me a lot. Then down here, we have worked across 6 teams. This is an okay number. To roll out a Spring Boot MCP server, exposing, this is where it starts to get a little much, tools that connect the diameter to agent workflows. I'd prefer you to make this a little bit less technical. Not like crazy, just, I don't need the 25, right? I would rather say boot server that connects traffic to an AI agentic workflow, and then this needs to be non-technical. Although again, your first sentence alone is phenomenal. So again, I want you to make this a little bit less technical, but you have the right idea. Built an automated QI workflow integrating with Claude API. Okay. Again, I want a little bit more. In fact, I think if you combine these, it'll be good. And then here, I want to add a little bit more tech. A little bit more of the basic tech. But overall, this is great. And then this one is really good. I'd prefer a little bit of tech here, right? Just a little bit of tech right here. But yeah, this is a resume that barely has any tech, and it's getting interviews like amazingly. And this is why for interns, some of the most important thing you can do is how you work together with others. And these are some really good ways to show that you work together with others and took direction and criticism. Very, very good. Very good. Yeah, I just need a little bit more tech and it to be a little bit less technical, but overall, I can see why this is having a success. Also, fix the font, the spacing. But yeah, good job. Next resume. This is another intern. Now, this person wants full stack, but really for an intern, you're just going to need a little bit of full stack, like TypeScript, JavaScript, HTML, CSS. That's it. There's no real crazy difference. Once you graduate, you need to pick a stack. But before you graduate, your tech stack doesn't matter. It's a really weird thing, though, because like when you're in school, what your tech stack is doesn't matter. But once you're searching for your first full-time role, then you need to pick a stack. But interns don't count, which is, I don't know why it works like that, but it does. So, what do we need for a software engineer intern? We already know. Let's see if I can find this in 20 seconds. And this person stated, senior student, no internships. One interview went poorly. So let's see what we can do. Also, this person doxed themselves, so I cannot scroll past this page. So, 20 seconds on the clock, and go. Okay. Good. Okay, code path, this doesn't matter. Led a 3-person team using Agile, 2 stand-ups per week. What? Live QA session, host for code. What? Okay. This resume is a example of resume that has keywords but not qualifications. If you want to know why we're not keyword hunting, it's because of this resume. This person has the keywords right, but they don't have the qualifications. So, led a 3-person team using Agile Scrum. Okay, but why do I care? Why do I care that you did 2 stand-ups per week? Why did I care that you use Kanban and peer reviews very Slack? Again, peer reviews doing Slack can be direction and criticism, but what did you do? What was this? What was the stack? You still need to lead with the stack. Like, the ability to work well with others and take direction and criticism is critical, but you still need the tech. You can't leave either of them out. And then the second one is live QA session platform host share a room via link, QR code, or join code React, JavaScript, HTML, CSS, Postgre, Google Auth, Gemini, Flash 2.5 API. That's a word salad. That's not anything that's keywords. That's not qualifications. Like, I need you to say this, okay? Created a vote application. I don't even know what you made, I'll be honest. Created a whatever this is in a 3-person team using TypeScript, JavaScript, or you said JavaScript, HTML, CSS, Node, PostgreSQL, and React that allowed users to do X and Y. Then the second one will be met. See, I don't care that you led. I want to see that you worked with. Worked with a 3-person team using a Agile Scrum methodology to peer review each other's codes during the semester to ensure the app was blank. And then received feedback from senior software engineers, incorporating their critique into the keyword. This is where you put in a keyword for our app. But right now, this is just a bunch of random words, like integrated AI clustering to group participants by theme, cutting redundant. I need you. Okay, so like you're a smart cookie. Okay, I'm not gonna, like, most of the people that watch me are smart, right? They've got college degrees. Some of them are in master's programs. I know you know somebody who you talk to that does not know what a computer science degree is. When you tell them, yeah, I'm going for a CS degree, or in this case, yes, a minor information systems, they're going to be like, okay, cool. So I spilled apple juice on my keyboard. Since you're good with computers, can you fix it? And you have to explain to them that, like, no, I'm working not on the hardware, I'm working on the software. And they say, okay, what's hardware? What's software? Can you fix my keyboard? And then you're like, okay, frustrating. That is the person I need you to write your resume for, because this is nothing. Like, do you have a parent, a grandparent, a partner, anybody you know who does not know computers? And I don't mean can't code. I mean has trouble turning them on and will call tech support when their monitor is unplugged level of computers. Because I need you to write your bullet points for that person, and those bullet points need to show them what you do. And if you can show bullet points that show what you do, how you did it, the reason you did it, to that person, and they are able to understand, you have good bullet points. Because right now this is just a bunch of word salad, and this is why you're struggling to get interviews, is somebody is reading this like, I don't know what this is. Managers also don't have hours and hours to read. They also typically close to have 20 seconds, sometimes 30 seconds. My advice is not for the recruiter, it's for the hiring manager and the recruiter. So I'm gonna need you to redo all of this. And well, your formatting's mostly correct, so you don't need to mess with the formatting, but I need you to simplify it. And also, like, all this stuff up here doesn't really matter also. Like, I don't care about CodePath. Why does that matter? I don't care about your liberal arts degree because you're already enrolled in college for a BS, and that's what I need. So this needs to be here. And if possible, if you can fit these into the same line, otherwise that's fine for them to be too. But this is what it needs to be. Also, you're expected in 2026 too. That might be, you might be able to get one internship in. That's going to be tough. But yeah, this is nothing. This is a bunch of random keywords, not qualifications. And the qualifications matter because you can't always, like, it all matters, right? Like, there's a lot of people that say, like, if you do this just one thing, you will get a job or whatever. The problem is getting a job is not one thing. It's many things that you all have to do correctly. You have to put the keywords in. You have to write why you did it with a non-technical reason that is understandable to a layman. And you have to be within the first 100 applicants. If you do not do those 3 things, you're not going to get an interview. And this is the problem while you're doing it, is right now is you have the keywords, but you don't show me the reason you did it. So I want you all to remember the reason you did something is almost more important than what you did. But that's it for me for this episode. Thank you very much for watching. To everybody who is a member, I just want to thank you for supporting this channel. I appreciate your membership. Thank you very much. If anybody wants to be a member, they get access to videos a little bit early, and they can support me through the link below. And if you ever need your resume reviewed, you can join me on Twitch every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST on twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter. But that is it for this episode, and I will see you in the next one to help you get ahead of your job search. Later.